This is the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We got another chart talk coming at you. It is Thursday, April 11th, 1:19 here on the West Coast. After market closes, that means 4:19 back east by Bennett. Bennett, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. No complaints. A lot of taxes right now, but we're doing good.
That's good. That's good. Not mine.
You're on extension, as am I, but everyone else is doing good. Clients first.
What a wild week we're having here. Really a lot of back and forth action. I think most participants are expecting a market pullback today, and we got action today that would suggest, we're ready for the next up move, and the market can really fake you out, and simply put, it does what you don't think it's going to do a lot of the time, and that's why I'm so focused on price action and things like that. But we can talk. Let's just hop into the charts. How about that, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. So this week started out with, let's go back to last week. Let's start with last week. I got the SPY up on my screen. A lot of news lately. Okay. So we'll start here with this huge sell-off. We haven't spoken since then. We opened at highs, and we virtually sold off all day, and that got the crowd pretty bearish, myself included. I was ready for a pullback. I've been trying to get short the market. Then that was on some Fed comments saying if inflation remains sticky, there would be no reason to cut rates this year. One of the Fed members said that, and the market just absolutely sold off. So that makes CPI very, very important. So CPI, we closed here, and then we opened for CPI this day. We got a hot print for CPI. The month over month was hotter than expected, the core. And now it looks like the Fed's goal for the year was 2.4% inflation. With that 0.3 month over month change, we want to see 0.2 month over month change every month to get to that 2.4. 0.2 times 12, 2.4, right? So seeing 0.3, that gets us above expectations for the end of the year. So, logically thinking, after this type of run up in the market, and we have a tight channel and there aren't a lot of setups, it's like, okay, market could be ready to pull back. Not a lot of setups out there. Leaders are fading. Just action under the hood does not look great. So we get CPI. I'm shorting the hell out of the market. Market does not budge at all. I cover some at the close, and then I'm ready for PPI today. And my plan was, here's today's action in the SPY. My plan was, if we saw another hot number, I was going to press these lows and get a very aggressively short. Just because we're looking like we're ready for the pullback. PPI comes in cooler than expected, of course. So does that negate the CPI number? I don't really know. I'm not. I don't want to judge the news too hard, because action like we saw today is a very big change of kind of change of composure today. But against all odds, so the CPI closing higher, it caused rates to run. So the 10-year now, this 4 point, what was it? This 4.4 area, we were like basing in front of it. Now we've ripped right out. We're at 4.58 in the 10-year, highest since November 14th, which, in a market aspect, rates haven't been this high and since they're on the way down this day. So it's like, it's a lot of these things pointing to what could be a market pullback. But then out of nowhere today, what did we see? We saw the market just completely change composure and just ripped faces off. It was led by Apple. Apple off lows. I don't know what the news was. There news on Apple today? I was doing so much other stuff. I didn't really. Whatever it was, just this move off lows, huge volume. This was the first one to go green. A lot of people were trying to short Apple at this huge support. Ended up being a great buying opportunity, and this kind of ignited the whole market upwards. And there's a lot of great action. So I flipped my bias once I saw the market, picking up some steam to the long side. I believe there's a bond auction today or something that just apparently didn't go well, but at the same time, it caused the market to just ignite to the upside. And when the market ignites to the upside, and I know mentally, people are more bearish right now than they have been all year. When I see, and myself included, I'm not sitting here like I'm a whatever. When I see that change of composure in stocks, though, I'm not as concerned with the narrative as much as I am concerned with the price action. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not an economist. I'm not deciding these things. I know everything about rates that you do. or the
Mhm.
general person. It's not like, we're some savant macroeconomic. I'm a good price action trader. So one thing I did today was so I had a short bias. I was short in the Qs because I thought I had a nice little inflection point holding this 50-day. And
Mhm.
my thesis was if we lose this 50-day, it should be a pretty quick move down to the 100-day here around 420. That would be around 6-7% pullback. That's where the spot I would look to get long. Again, in a perfect world, right?
Mhm.
None of that happens, and we just rip higher. So I definitely think today was a day to take notice. Tomorrow becomes very important because do we get follow through on this action? I'm not sure. I'm positioned that we do because a lot of names look good. One thing I want to cue on though I was very bearish. Here's something I learned last year because I was bearish after the market had bottomed and I had a huge short going on. I had
Mhm.
these options, um, and I got so short, like the biggest options trade in my life. And I was so convinced I was right on my short, even though this day happened. I wasn't aggressively typing up names that I could potentially buy. I didn't really have the other side in mind. That
Mhm.
was a big mistake. So I told myself if I'm ever get bearish in an uptrend or whatever it is, I have to be searching a ton of charts in case we have that turnaround because this move happened. I was up huge in the trade and I gave the whole move completely back and I didn't have longs. It was one, very painful, and two, very costly because, look at this move that ignited. So the one thing I made sure was that I had longs ready. I was very in tune with what was relatively strong. So when the market was beginning to turn upwards today, I bought things like I bought this AMAT. This looks great. Again, coming into today when the market looks so vulnerable, this is just flagging at highs. Um, what else did I buy? I bought some of this lift. This looks nice here. Again, big move off lows, still on a weekly chart, trying to break out of this base. Looks very nice. I bought some of this QCOM. QCOM flagging at highs, was not able to break any moving averages or support to the downside. So when it holds and the market turns, I got long that name. And then last is I got long this CCJ right here. Nice pattern, uranium name. I did take I took losses. I took a huge QQQ short loss, and I took a loss short in this now. I've been thinking this one was a long, and then I saw it take out these lows to the downside, and this is when I thought the market was going to puke. So I'm thinking, okay, if this is able to break this little area, I was trying to cheat that area. Maybe I get a puke on my side. Tight risk. Again, took a
Mhm.
loss on it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just trying to put myself in a position to make money. I think the market's just in a very tricky spot with rates. With rate. I mean, I didn't expect the market to continue to run with rates like that, so I got so bearish. So I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, I put on a lot of reactionary longs today. I think the market actually looked good for further upside, not based on PPI, CPI, any of this inflate, just based on price action. That's
Mhm.
that's how I've traded all my life, and that's how we've always succeeded. So as far as charts go, I don't have a lot for that. It's just today was really a day to take notice. Maybe it's a fake out move, maybe it's a trap. I don't know. We could sell off tomorrow, and this negates everything today. All I know is I was bearish coming into this day, and I was bearish yesterday with the CPI and things like that, and the market completely ripped shorts out of the water. So I think we have continued upside based on the action today, but I don't know. Look at these rates. 10 years insane right now. What are you thinking over there?
Let me pull up my screen for a moment. So I think just broadly, I think the cues have pretty much been showing us what we should kind of expect in the short term. And it's just, we've been shifting these past like month or two, we've been shifting out of this like very steep uptrend and we're shifting into this like consolidation phase, which like the cues just staying in this like almost, like a beautiful like bull flag in a sense.
It is.
And yeah, it's like a
Continuation bull
textbook.
flag. Today's action kind of confirms it's a continuation bull flag in my
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And earlier this week, like you mentioned, like you were, pretty bearish going into, CPI and even today and myself as well. So I got out of most of car and most of hood that I've been in. Most of them have been in for a little bit now because of that. I was like, look, this market's up pretty huge. And, I'm up 40% in card. I'm up whatever, 20, 30% in hood. Like, I don't want to have this flush, 512, and these names that are a little bit more high beta get really whacked, and they're back at 32 in a couple days, and it's like, damn, I gave back this huge trade for no reason. So I preemptively like de-risk, and I was talking with one of the members yesterday before the CPI, and he was like, should I always just like try to like take positions off prior to it? And I was like, well, look, if it was a great reading and the market ripped, would you have been glad really, de-risked prior? You'd have felt kind of silly. And if the market rips lower and you do get out, you're going to feel like a genius. But it's hard to really anticipate those moves.
Arbitrary. Yo,
Yeah,
something I want to comment on that because I've made so many mistakes. I've de-risked before all these news events this year, and every single time it's been a mistake. Every single time this year. Granted, great bull market, blah blah blah. It's cost me so much money overthinking the news.
Yeah. So that
Overthinking
was
worst case scenario. So
yeah.
going forward, I'm not going to, maybe I'll hedge or something like that, but I'm not just going to get out of position because, oh no, this could happen. Because look, wall of worry. We're just climbing that wall of worry.
Exactly. So that was pretty much my point where, again, even though I still took some off, again, for car and hood, it's like they were up so much. It seemed like it was kind of time to take some profits. But it was more like what I was trying to articulate to him was just focus on whatever your game plan is. If just focus on where your stop is, focus on where your target is, like focus on just the name that you're in. And when you not trying to have all these other, okay, well, I need a good CPI number and a good PPI number and this and this and this, and then to stay in the stock. And it's like, that's in the long run of 100 or 1,000 trades can be too difficult to have all those answers always perfectly line up, where if it just focusing on the trade itself. But so again, I do think that we are shifting more into some type of consolidation phase, like we saw kind of what the Qs are kind of showing us. Similar action again with the SPY, just a little bit of a tighter range. Again, I was kind of expecting 512 to get smoked. But we're seeing that.
I got a question for you. Go back to the Qs.
Yep.
Are we making new all-time highs tomorrow?
No, I don't think tomorrow. Maybe.
I don't know.
But no, I think really like to really push, like, I think what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday.
Up day, and a fat up day gets us new all-time highs.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I think 2-3 days, no problem. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, by next week, I think that's like a chip shot. For tomorrow, possibly. But I can't say like with 100% confidence it would. Again, we were talking about energy lately, and we were talking, a few weeks ago, if this is the beginning of the move or the end of the move. It feels like in the short term, this might need to pull back and kind of back test this prior breakout area before the next leg, just like looking at this insane run up that we've seen in the broader sector. I just still think we see higher price action in the energy sector over the next few months, but in the short term, probably needs to, back test.
Iran Israel stuff is going to pump energy.
Yeah. So again, energy is looking pretty good. Again, some of the other sectors, we're starting to see support finally getting tested for the first time. First time getting support getting tested and breaking for the first time in months. So we're seeing this in consumer staples. Earlier last week was the first time support or the higher pivot lows have broken to the downside. Kind of saw that in healthcare as well. This is like the steeper, trend line. We can kind of draw this out and just see, some breaks here. So it seems like, the obvious breakout stage we've been in, it seems like we're, stepping out of that and then into maybe it's, broader consolidation. Moving on to, or again, we'll see what the Qs do. If we,
look at Apple's up 5% today. Who knows?
Yeah.
What if we just begin another run? Like Nvidia could pump all-time highs from here so easily because everyone's saying it has to pull back, has to pull back, has to pull back. Strongest name in the market still.
Yeah. I feel like this like little dirt, what was this? I guess Tuesday. That little dirty shakeouts. Like those are always like it's like just everyone gets out and then rips it back higher.
Yep. Everyone's looking for an excuse to sell because it's up so much, and then that's how they rip it.
Yeah.
More money's buying in the 830s.
Yeah. So moving on to just a couple quick little trades and some names to keep an eye on. Again, this was that?
I said, why not me?
So again, this car again, really good swing, up, 30, 40%. Again, I preemptively took some off into that CPI, but it was more, again, it was just up so much. And if it was, a shitty event, this thing got cracked, I felt a little silly. So again, it still have some, for that potential retest, these IPO highs. Same thing with hood. It was just, I think you were calling this one out for, weeks in the shakedown through that 14. phenomenal run, of $5 in the name. Moving on to names I'm keeping a focus on. Again, I've been really keeping a painful eye on this T-Mobile. Again, very tight down here near support. A little support buyback up there is 161. Let me zoom in some more. Versus this, like 159. So we're like getting $2 risk here. Tight little support buyback. For a move back to this like 165, 167 area. Microsoft, again, these mega cap tech names, super strong. Very tight little flag up here at highs. Almost like a little Mickey Mouse flag, but bull flag at all-time highs. What more can you really ask for? This Marriott, again, was keeping an eye on it. We were trying to wait to do the chart talk till after CPI, so this one kind of went before we were able to get the chart talk done on Monday. Someone's doing all right. We got this net up through this like 97 area.
That looks really nice.
Yeah, so you have like the
Wow.
horizontal resistant.
Okay.
We got I think honestly this was on one of the shakedowns like a few weeks ago.
It's been, I mean, I've been focusing. If you check out the weekly chart on this name, it was a huge rip on earnings. It's giving back half that move, retested that base resistance. If you extend the bottom line across, that's the base right there.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's retesting that. Now it's it could pop, potentially push higher from there.
Yeah. And then last.
And that'll be a nice big move, tight risk.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
And then we got this now. Oh, you don't like now?
No, I mean, I was in it so long. Up until, you see that big green bar.
Mm-hmm.
That one, yep. I was in it super long. And I gave it back. Doing too much when the market's chopping around, honestly, without picking a direction. That's what it is. That was my problem.
Yeah. I feel like even for you, I feel like you crushed the wedges. It just needs to tighten up some more.
I know, when it breaks.
Yeah. So definitely some names on the radar. Again, it seems like Shake is leaning towards Qs, putting new all-time highs tomorrow. Again, I definitely feel like we do see, new highs in the Qs. So that's all I got on my end. Again, right now we've been doing a lot of taxes. So I've been working with Skinner, learning a lot about taxes this year. For everyone who's married, I will say one thing that I've learned from this tax season. If you are married, file with your spouse. So there's been so many prospects that we've spoken to that have filed separately in the past.
Wow, that's nuts.
It's it's such a weird, I would just, the assumption is hey,
you don't want to show the wife what you're making, huh?
Some of them, it was the opposite. It was like the wife didn't want to show the husband what she was making. But there's been, I don't want to say, I'm never going to mention a client's name, because it's their own personal. But one of the examples was individuals married, they're filing separately. He owed, it was like $2,000. We were like, look, let us just run the simulation showing you filing jointly with your wife, and we'll show you the difference in your, what your tax is going to be. Separately owes $2,000, files with the wife. He ends up getting a $6,000 refund. And it was purely just because your deduction, your standard deduction is so much higher. There's so many benefits that it's just crazy when these when the people try to do it themselves and they just assume they're gonna do better filing separately. It's just insane. That's the biggest one. I've seen a few this tax season where it was a huge swing from filing separately versus filing jointly. So that's my little tax tip that I've been learning. If you're married, file with your spouse. So with that, Shake, if you any other last little points?
Always, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
Get our pretty faces up there. Always stay flexible in trading. Know what you need to see to confirm ideas. Know what you need to see if those ideas are wrong. Always have options in both directions. And follow price. Be dumb, follow price. That was the first thing I really ever heard in trading. Be dumb, follow price. Be dumb, follow price. And look at today. Today's just a perfect example. We had every reason in the world to pull back this week. CPI is hot, inflation's sticky, rates are up, dollars ripping, energy's ripping, but we didn't. And that's just information we didn't. And that only gives us more jet fuel to the upside. An article came out last week at CNBC. This is the most short hedge funds have ever been this year at this point. So the action we saw today in the Qs and the SPY, where we just kind of went straight up, that's just short covering action. So that's just, funds you know, deleveraging those positions and winding them away, and that's what caused the market to rip so much. So, you know, always stay flexible and don't try to be too smart. Like, don't try to be too smart. You know,
Yeah.
be dumb, follow price. That's it.
I think the
That's
one
it.
the one I just noticed this because like I guess your camera's panned out more than usual, so I can see your bookshelf. I think the hilarious point is like talking about being dumb, and I'm with you 100%. And it's like there's like a few hundred books behind you. There's like 500 books behind me, where it's like be an idiot. Meanwhile, there's like 200.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read half those books, and all I've learned is to be dumb and follow price. That's how you become the best trader you can be. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. So I think with that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry, it's a little later
Keep
than
it
usual.
simple, stupid.
That'll be the next book. Just kidding, Chick. No more books.
All
All right, we're done.
right. We'll catch you guys next week. Any likes, comments, subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, probably catch you guys Monday or Tuesday next week.